Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review Part 32D. This one covering most of the remaining episodes for the Fishman Island arc, episodes 555 to 569. This is the big battle that the arc has been building toward for a little while. Throughout this whole arc, first we have, the debut of a few new things, some new attacks. Some of the stuff is still used this very day. We have Luffy, of course, beating up a bunch of, Fishman pirates. Of course, Robin debuts her new moves. A couple of moves for her. She can make duplicates of herself. And she can make a giant version of her legs to stomp on a bunch of fishmen. And what about Luffy? Well, during his fight with Hody later, he debuts a new move he does occasionally use, and if you play Jump Force, you can use this move. Basically, he can use Gum Gum Red Hawk, which makes his hand go on fire, as a tribute to his late brother. Zoro, as far as I can tell, I don't think he had any new moves per se. He spent most of the time battling the same guy, the the Master Swordsman Octopus. Yep. Now, in the case of Brook, he did debut a new move, basically, where his sword can emit ice now. And it's much more longer than his last sword. He said his current sword was forged by the Long-Armed Tribe. Nami, on the other hand, mostly the same stuff she normally has, so no really big change for her. In the case of Usopp, we already know about his plants, like a bunch of plants. Now, Chopper can go the monster. Now, he basically can only use the Rumble Ball now just for the monster mode. That's it. He doesn't need the Rumble Ball to go to his other modes per se, but he does need to use it when he goes to monster mode. But he does it like Kung Fu Point and I think it was Kung Fu, Bigger Horn Point. And what he does the Horn Point basically looks like he goes like long hair. Sanji does the Sky Walk. Not the Moonwalk, the Skywalk, which is a similar move, according to Robin, one of the moves the CP9 guys used. He developed it when he was basically fighting, when he was on the island transvestites. Now, what about, let's say, Frankie? Well, he debuted some cool new stuff. Like, wow, look at this stuff. Like, first up, it's the Rhino Cycle. Awesome thing this is. Despite the fact that after this particular fight, the cycle itself does not reappear again for quite a while in this form. It actually returned just recently in the most recent chapter of the manga, because most of the time we were seeing was already part of the other cool thing. Of course, he had, the tank, which makes his debut here, which looks like a pea shooter, but it's pretty powerful. But then once the shark basically makes a big hole. It's like, okay, everybody out, toss everybody out. It's like, ow, that freaking hurt. And then he sort of merges the Rhino Cycle and the tank into General Frankie, which in the sub they refer to as Shogun Frankie. When he it's like basically like a transformation sequence from either Super Sentai or Power Rangers. Plus, he comes with a cool katana that just somehow appears out of nowhere. And he used to take out a bunch of fishmen. Now, Brook himself also is immune to the squid officer, which whenever he pokes his squid into somebody, basically they get drained dry and the spirit transforms back into a squid. It doesn't work on Brook because he's getting bones. At one point, he gets his head chopped off, and Brook's like, nah, his revive prevents him from dying. Eventually, he doesn't exactly beat him. He does beat the other guy, which, the funny thing is with this guy, is that, he claimed that, he couldn't hear him. It's like, I used my inside voice. Really? You're outside. Yeah. And, of course, everyone seems like they're having a blast, basically, beating up all these fishmen. Even Jinbei basically got a chance to get some action. And then we have Wasumi comes, first we have the Kraken come in. Like, it's the Kraken, and of course, I was like, where's Luffy before the Kraken? Luffy, get back to fighting. Of course, Luffy really wants to fight in the the rhino cycle. Brooke does later on, believe it or not. Yeah. So at one point they bring out a bunch of human slaves. Yep. So Jinbei, not liking this, asks Robert for help. She's like, okay, fine. And she just takes the keys out the Fishman, frees the human slaves, and of course Jinbei beats the Fishman. That's it. It's a minor plot. It's a minor thing that happens. Jinbei, of course, also has taken down before I get to Wasumi. Like he comes in very strangely, of course. He comes a little bit later. The crack comes at one point like Tsurume, protect, and of course Luffy, protect Weepy Hoshi. And then of course Hody's like, I'm gonna hurt I know where your brother is right now, right this second. Kill her. And then of course Luffy's like, if you need help protecting your brother, why don't you just ask? And of course, well, he protects her, and then she pretty much just sits there the whole fight. Doesn't do much of anything until a little bit later. Yep. And of course, the officers get more jacked up on the steroids. Like, oh my gosh. Yep. And then Vendeck, this will be quite shocking to the Noah. Yeah, the big Noah's Ark ship. Which during the fight, everyone looks at this guy like, oh crap, it's the Noah. And it's going to be used to crush the island. All because Shirahoshi turns down Vanderdecken. And then, of course, she redirects the way because she's the one marked by it. Luffy, of course, joins the fray too, along with Shirahoshi's brothers. And, of course, Luffy... It takes a while for Luffy to beat Horty Jones. Like, it takes him about 5 episodes just to beat him. In the case of Zoro versus the Octopus, that takes him a good, couple episodes. And Zoro beats not the squid, he beats some other type of fisherman. It looked like he's wearing, a long shirt. But he's been looking like this since he was a kid. I thought that was kind of weird. Yeah. So he beats him. Nami doesn't defeat any of the Fishman pirates. Nope. She doesn't like too much fighting at all. Robin doesn't defeat much of anyone. And Wasumi falls off the Noah, though he's beaten by the combination of Sanji and Jinbei. What about the Chop Chop Shark? He's defeated by Usopp. As for the Hammer one with the hammer, he's defeated by Chopper. Yep. Vanderdecken himself is stabbed by Horty Jones. And then despite the fact Horty Jones has been beaten, of course, he's been beaten. And, the ship's still falling. Of course, Luffy's using his elephant Gatling. This is where it makes his debut. He used to smash the ship. And then, something more shocking. Before they get to before how he's finding the ship, first the air bubble was destroyed, and then of course thanks to the air, there's actually a machine that makes air bubbles for Fishman Island. They create a new bubble surrounding the whole ship, and despite the fact Luffy's basically losing a lot of blood, that's when something more shocking happens than Noah showing up. Sea Kings show up for them, and they pull up the Noah. Despite the fact it was damaged, they would pull it away. And Shirahoshi basically carries Luffy back to everybody else has already basically won all their battles. All the fishermen pirates been defeated. And of course, before Luffy gets down there, Jinbei of course stops the human pirates and the fisherman pirates from leaving until the king is settled. And of course, the king, when he sees it, Noah is like, oh crap, it's the promised ship. It's not supposed to be moved yet. Yep. Though, in the case when the Sea Kings bring it away, they see it, they basically fly past Den, Hachin, and Cammy, and they're oh my gosh, like eye popping, tongue. They do that hilarious thing, which I thought was so funny. The fact that Cammy got a chance to do that twice, I thought that was so funny. And it's dropped off behind Orihime's grave, which interesting place to put it. Yeah, but don't worry, to get more to what happened in the aftermath of this. So, Shirahoshi brings down Luffy after his bloody battle with Horty, who had severely wounded him and basically caused him to lose a lot of blood. So Jinbei, now everyone of course, they need type F blood. Of course, nobody in the crew's got it. Shirahoshi would volunteer, but she doesn't have the right type of blood. And then Jinbei steps up and says, take my blood, take how much you need. And of course, Minister of the Left is like, Your Majesty, I'll allow it. Probably because he basically saved the island, so he rightfully has earned this. And then the episode ends basically with Luffy asking Jinbe to join the crew, which I'll get into that in the next part. Yeah, these are fun set of episodes. It's 15 episodes, a lot of action, and basically like minor plot things, but mostly put, you can kind of say these episodes are just having everybody show off all the new special abilities they gained during a 2-year time skip. That's the best way you can describe these episodes. Yeah, and also the royal family have been evacuated, and pretty much all have been wounded by Horty Jones, even more in the case of Fobokshi, who reveals about the whole thing about Horty before he gets defeated. That he's not a true Fishman, he's just a monster that was created because of all the hatred, the eternal hatred Fishman have for humans. Which, okay. And apparently his baby transpires now transmits to not only the Luffy baby transpires now, but also the entire country, which that's interesting. And while this, basically we have it where they reveal that, oh yeah, despite the fact everybody's won, like after the whole battle is defeated, like, okay, they found the missing mermaids, they're all perfectly fine. And in the case, and then they also revealed that the treasury was raided. Yep, including this special box. They get more to this. I'll get more to this a little bit later because this box returns in whole cake. No joke, it seriously does. Because it's a follow-up to this and because of Alwa's Big Mom. I'll discuss more about that when I discuss next episodes, which debut of several new characters. In the case of this episodes, mostly some new abilities, but new characters, well, no, not really. There's an expansion on Sarahoshi and her ability to talk to Sea Kings, which explains to them that their queen is always a female mermaid, which is always a mermaid, which that's interesting. They don't really explain why, it's just that it always has to be that way. But fun set of episodes, and of course she's cheering on the Straw Hats while they beat a bunch of evil fishmen. Yep. But yeah, that's this particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which will be a review of Comic Corner. Yes. And of course, I'm still doing Case Closed soon. Now, what about the last few episodes of this arc? Well, I'll discuss those along with Z's, and I'll probably discuss those in probably like part 33, and then 34 would be Z's Ambition, and then 35 would just be a two-parter discussing what was ever Punk Hazard. Yeah, so not many videos left to discuss for One Piece review. I will discuss more about that when I finish up Punk Hazard, what's been released for dub, okay? See you next video. Bye.